Guys, Marsingin here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so tomorrow morning, alongside the release of the manga banner and all the other Dragon Ball 40th anniversary celebration collaboration stuff, we have the Extreme Z battle for the AGL Kid Gohan. Definitely an interesting one. I did the community response video for this guy yesterday. A lot of people, I think, seem to be underrating just how good this guy's EZA is going to be. So very much looking forward to actually having him in the game and being able to try him out in a bunch of different events, do the showcases, all that kind of good stuff, so that we can actually check him out and see how good he is going to be. But in this video here now, we are going to go through a very quick team building guide for this guy's EZA. As you can see, his weakness category is Revenge, and of course, being an AGL unit, you can see we've got, if we scroll all the way down to where the maximum debuff modifiers are, which I think is, oh, it's from stage, oh wow, okay, it's literally from stage like 13 onwards. So as you can see, you don't want to be using super class characters. Super AGL, Super Int, Super SDR, and Super Physical all suffer 80% damage, like might reduction, or we always use damage reduction as a term for tanking, so I guess it just means like attack power reduction, so like the damage they do is reduced by 80%. So realistically, you just don't want to use any of those units on the team unless you're filling gaps in your team with tanks and units that are going to be able to offer a bit of defensive value, because they're not going to be able to do any damage. So obviously you want to be running extreme characters, or you can run super tech characters, and they will be able to do damage. And then obviously, like any normal Extreme Z battle, beating all the way up to stage 30 gets you all the medals that you need, as well as a bunch of the AGL Kais. And then if you choose to go past stage 30, you'll just be able to farm the silver Hercule statues in order to farm some extra Zenny. So if we jump over to the wiki and take a look at the Revenge category, now you can see the only two leaders for the Revenge category are the Int LR Legendary Super Saiyan Broly from the Worldwide Celebration 2024 and the AGL Bardock, who does at least have an EZA. So regardless of whether the characters would be getting the extra leader skill from Broly or not, whether you're using Bardock, essentially it's going to be a 170 lead unless you use a category within the parameters of Revenge, which there are some, and we will go over some of those options here as we talk about some of the characters that you will be able to use. So we are going to go ahead and jump in and talk about the top picks and honorable mentions. Obviously, if you guys think there are any units that I missed out or that I should have talked more about why they would be good in this particular battle, do let me know down below in the comment section. Let us know what your team build is going to look like to help out people with other ideas and things like that. But yeah, we are just basically going to go ahead and jump in here and get started. So obviously the Broly is the best unit to use for the leader in terms of just being able to run a full-on Revenge category and not have to worry about fitting under any other unit's leader skill. Everyone will just be getting the Revenge 170, and then of course anyone who is on movie bosses, transformation boost, or pure Saiyans will also be getting the extra 30% and therefore have the 200% leader skill. EZAs, of course, are not particularly high difficulty level events, so even having a full team that's only getting the 170 leader skill will be perfectly fine in order to get through the stages up to stage 30 without too much difficulty. So Broly, a solid option. Obviously he does have, depending on how you build the team, if you have a actually it doesn't even matter, the uncontrollable power and allies, because we are fighting a Goku family enemy, so you will be able to use his domain regardless of the team build that you make for him, which obviously gives uncontrollable power, allies, and enemies 15% extra attack and defense, increased damage received by superclass enemies by 15%, and allies, additional 10% for characters who belong to movie heroes. So this is actually really, really good for this, because you can just activate this straight away against Gohan, and then not only are you going to be buffing the uncontrollable power characters on your team, but Gohan will be taking more damage as he is a superclass enemy. So Broly, definitely the go-to choice for the leader for this Extreme Z battle if you do actually have him. So next up we have, I thought I'd mention the Tech LR Broly, who of course, if you're going to be running the Broly leader, this guy is like the perfect option to be run on his team and to go with him. Not only getting some solid links, but being able to do quite a lot of damage. In the early stages, this guy probably, between the SDR, this guy and the Int Broly like lead, you're probably just one turning every phase for a decent amount of time into the event. So obviously this guy is going to be very, very good for damage. He's not a slot 1 unit, but he's just there to deal some nice big damage to Gohan and get through the stages nice and quick. In terms of lead, he's got Resurrected Warriors, which a lot of these characters are on. There's a couple of characters, there's quite a few of these characters actually on Revenge that have Resurrected Warriors leader skills, so that's another way you can work a team lead into the mix here for this team. So next I wanted to mention the Golden Frieza. This guy got his EZA not all that long ago and is of course a very, very good option to be a slot 1 tank and just sit there and soak up all the hits, as well as doing a decent little bit of damage as well. So this guy definitely a go-to slot 1, especially if you've got a slightly weaker team as you're getting to the later stages. The only real way I suppose you're gonna be in some serious trouble is if you're eating like a slot 1 super attack. So obviously having a character like the AGL Golden Frieza to just be there in slot 1 means that you will be perfectly fine for him tanking all of these attacks. So Golden Frieza definitely a go-to, and of course he's a movie hero character, movie boss character I should say, of course, so he gets all of the buffs from the Broly leader skill as well. So very good choice for the team. We also have the AGL Baby. Now obviously this guy, not as good as he was when he had his temporary boost during one of the previous celebrations, but he can still be a good unit here on the team. We are of course fighting a Hybrid Saiyan enemy, so he does get a bunch of his extra buffs. He has extra attack power if you're already on high HP when he attacks, or extra defensive power and dodge chance if you're on low HP. He also has the turns into a giant ape when HP is 40% or less, so if you're struggling in the later stages or you're farming like way past stage 30, he does have that ability to just get the giant ape transformation and give you some free turns of damage whilst also cancelling out the enemy's super attacks. So obviously that works out very nicely in those setups as well. And he's just another extreme character with big bad bosses. Unfortunately, of course, Broly and a lot of the Freezers don't have big bad bosses, but this guy fits quite nicely onto the team as well. Then next up we have the banner unit baby that came out with like the Tanabata Super Saiyan 4 full power Goku. This guy is not super great, but like he also gets the buff against the Hybrid Saiyan enemy. He's got big bad bosses. He's a unit that's useful to run on the team if you're running the LR baby, because they're going to share a lot of links. They've got different names, so they just work perfectly on a rotation together. You could run this guy even without the other baby, of course, but he's not going to be as good in terms of his links setups or anything like that. But he is another tech revenge character that you can put on the team if you need to fill that final slot with another character, right? Then after that we have the only superclass unit that we're going to mention, I think, for this is the superclass LR, the only superclass LR tech revenge character, the Power Awakening Piccolo. Now this guy is going to be interesting, right? Like, you're very unlikely to have a Bond of Master and Disciple ally on the team, so he's not going to get his extra buffs, but he doesn't need the guard because we're fighting against an AGL enemy. He gets extra ki, so he can get supers a little bit easier without having crazy links with everybody. He does give all allies 2 ki when he gets hit, which is pretty helpful. And then of course he does have the giant form, although that can only be used from turn 6 without superheroes allies, so you're probably not going to see that very much. This guy, honestly, more than anything else, is like an honourable mention if you really don't have like a final unit to put on the team, simply for the fact that he is a tech LR, so he could be somewhat helpful, despite not being the optimal pick for the team. But he's like one of the only superclass units that I would probably consider bringing. So next up we have the Tech Transforming Frieza. Now this guy, obviously he's quite old, like he got his EZA over 4 years ago, but he's a tech unit. Like turn 1 he's not going to be doing anything too crazy, then you're going to transform into the second form. The fight probably doesn't even go on long enough for you to see the third form Frieza, but he's got a little bit of HP recovery, he can do some decent damage. He's probably not going to tank like super attacks very well towards like the end stages, but he's just another solid option to go on the team alongside characters like that other Golden Frieza to get some Wicked Bloodline units together. He does have an Extreme Types leader skill, but it is only for 130. However, we do have a couple of other Wicked Bloodline characters that could be pretty good here. We've got the Metal Cooler Army, the Battlefield LR. They have an Extreme Types leader skill, but it's only 120. However, these guys are supporting artificial life forms, which characters like the Baby and some of these other characters we'll mention next on. Recovers HP start of turn, can launch a couple of super attacks. So this guy can be pretty solid as a differently named unit on the team. Because remember, EZAs are still the only events in the game now where you can't use characters with the same name on your team. So you do have to remember, like having characters with different names is actually still very, very helpful. So especially with like the little sort of Wicked Bloodline setup you can kind of put together within the revenge category, having a bunch of these different characters with the different names obviously is very helpful. Because we also have characters like the physical LR Metal Cooler, hopefully due for an EZA. I would imagine probably around the time of the anniversary we could see these cooler worldwide celebration characters EZA. But this guy in a thing like an Extreme Z battle, where as we've already said isn't super high level difficulty, this guy should still be pretty usable. And of course he does have the ability to revive. He does recover HP for you at the start of the turn as well. I think he recovers, yeah, if he receives an attack, he recovers HP at the end of the turn. So he can be pretty helpful on the team. And of course, he does also, well, it's nothing to do with him specifically, but there is also the option of all of the free-to-play Metal Coolers. I'm not going to bring all of them up here, but obviously the free-to-play Metal Cooler team, they get extra stats per Wicked Bloodline ally on the team. You can very easily make a team that is like the, you know, LR Golden Frieza, the Metal Cooler Army LR, the physical LR Metal Cooler, and then like these guys as well. Because remember that the physical Metal Cooler is a Wicked Bloodline 200% lead. So you could just very straightforwardly make a team with him, just run a full Wicked Bloodline team, use this guy, you know, use Golden Frieza, and then just use a couple of the free-to-play Metal Coolers, and that would be pretty straightforward in order to get the event done. So a couple of different options, and of course, you know, using this guy and all the free-to-play Metal Coolers, you can literally just have a free-to-play revenge team. So if you don't have any of the summonable units that we've talked about, there is the possibility of making a free-to-play team for this stage as it is anyway. So those were the top picks and honorable mentions. If we just have a quick scroll through, I mean, I guess there is the Prime Battle LR Dr. Wheelo. He also is a revenge lead. He could be usable on the team if you're just running a straight up like revenge leader skill. Obviously I didn't mention the AGL Bardock because he is a superclass character, but if you don't have any other revenge leader, then obviously you can use him for the revenge leader skill. You just have to be aware of the fact that obviously he's not really going to do any damage because he's going to be suffering from the 80% damage minus. We also didn't really mention any like STR units, but like you can see again with the superclass characters, like all of these guys are just not really going to be doing damage. I mean, Super Saiyan 3 Goku gives people defensive support, like he'll give that to the Brolys. He has the giant ape thing, which could be helpful, but obviously again he's not really going to be doing damage. In terms of the tech characters like Tech Gohan, pretty good. The EZA for the this Future Trunks was okay, or was it this one? The transforming Trunks. Like the problem being is that with all the other units that we've gone over, you are really going to be running largely extreme setups. So just throwing like Tech Gohan on the team, like he's not really going to be doing much for you. And then you've got stuff like, you've got like the support Golden Frieza who supports super bosses, which there aren't many of on Revenge, and since you can't use same name characters, I would much rather use the AGL LR Golden Frieza as the tank. Again, we didn't mention many STR characters. There is the Hachiyak as well, the Battlefield LR, although I wouldn't recommend for most people buying this guy with your Battlefield points, but if you do have him, then obviously you could use him on the team. In LR Cell is another like decent revenge, like LR character. The Tech Super EZA cell actually is on the team. We probably should have mentioned him because he is a really good unit with big bad bosses. So Tech Super EZA cell is definitely a top pick for the team as well. But there you go. Those are my top picks and honorable mentions for the revenge category for making a team for this AGL Kid Gohan Extreme Z battle. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. And like I said at the beginning, if there's any units you think I missed out or should have talked more about that should be on the team, do let us know down below in the comment section. And yeah, let me know what your team build is going to look like for the Gohan EZA. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.